Hello everyone, it is April and time for the Pick a Stick Challenge for April. Today I am going to use a tip-in page. These are Delusions pages that fit the Small Delusions journal, and because I have them and because I have the journal, I thought that's what I would do, is I would work out of my book and on a page that I tip in. So I have this Judican stamp, and I'm not stamping very well, and I'm just trying to get some texture into the background. Now the colors for the month are slate and red, so I'm going to use those in my background. And this is a large Judican stamp, and typically when you stamp one of these, you probably want to do it with the rubber facing you. I, of course, tried to do it in another fashion, and it didn't work real well. So that's okay, because, you know, it's only the first layer, and I'm still layering things up. So we're just going to move on. And the first prompt was stamp, so that's why I was using a stamp in my background. And then I'm also going to use a non-standard stamp, which is some bubble wrap. Bubble wrap works great for a stamp. I have this red archival, which is the second color, and I'm going to stamp some of that bubble onto my background just to add a little more texture. And then step number 2 says reduction. Well, that's easy enough. I'm going to get out my gesso, and I'm going to reduce the amount of color coming through the page by applying a layer of gesso over the top of that. So I have a utility brush and my palette, and I'm just going to use that utility brush and brush a thin coat over the top. I'm not going to obliterate the image. I'm just going to push it back by adding a thin coat of the gesso, and this works great when you're just trying to mute something down. And that's all I'm really wanting to do, because this is the background. It's not the focal image or what I want to do for my finished page. It's just a layer. So step 3 is fuzzy, and I'm debating about what I want to do here. What's going through my head is Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear, and I have a cute little bear image, but I also like this little porcupine image, but they're not very fuzzy, they're more prickly. So I stamped the bear just to see what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's cute, but it's really not the direction I wanted to go. And then it comes to me that step number 4 is switch. So I used fuzzy. I put fuzzy on the page. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to jiggle my camera there. But now I'm going to stamp that little, what do they call him? Porcupine. And this is the other paper that comes in that pack. And I thought it would be appropriate for my little porcupine. And so I'm going to emboss him with some Emerald Creek embossing powder. I think this was a bronze, and I liked the color. I thought it was appropriate for his quills. And I'm just going to cut him out and put him on my page. So while I'm cutting things out, I also need to cut out a landing place, or, you know, when you have images on your page, they need to have a grounded space, you know, whether it's dirt or a chair or a table or something. So I'm just creating a surface using some more of these papers that came in the packet to have my little creature sitting on, because he can't just be floating out there in air. So just using those papers, and what I'm doing is step number 5, because step number 5 is scallop. And so I'm cutting these papers into a scallop shape as I apply them to the page. And so that's fulfilling part of the art challenge, as well as giving a place for my creature to rest. And I'm applying a little bit of ink to that flat surface just to give it a little more texture. I'm using a distress picket fence white, and I think a watering can, and, you know, archival ink to give it some texture. So I'll glue those down using a little bit of matte medium. And then the very last step is brush. We also have some wild cards of mop and drop. So I will incorporate some of that into what I do here. You know, just because I like to keep going while I'm at it. So I've got my little porcupine glued down, and he's a prickly little fellow. And what I want to do is use these are fine line applicators, and I filled them with some high flow acrylic. And what I want this to say, so I'm going to use my fine liner and apply a saying. But before I do that, I'm just using the brush, which is step number 6, and I'm applying a border onto the edge of my page, just with a little brush, and get my fine liner out. And what my saying says is, don't let your mind bully your body into believing it must carry the burden of its worries. And you can see this poor little guy looks totally worried. And I think that's what I was thinking, was how distressed he looked. And I wanted to let him know that it was okay not to be bullied by your mind. And, you know, we all struggle with things. I know as a person of age, my body sometimes doesn't want to cooperate, and my mind sometimes wants to give up, and I'm saying, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to carry on. Okay, so here is a total mess up. You know, you can see I totally messed up, but I'm saying it's okay. It's a journal page. I can fix it. I'm going to go back, clean off my mess. I'm going to, yeah, and you can see as I'm cleaning my mess, it's still wet, and I'm still making a further mess. So I decided I better dry it before I just totally have to start over again. But yeah, I grabbed some more paint. I'm going to fill that in. I'm going to texturize it a little bit, you know, fix my mess ups. And the reason I left this in is because, you know, I wanted you to see that everything we do is not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's a journal page, and it's a challenge, and I'm challenging myself to fix this kind of really screwed up mess. And you can see there I go again, messing it up again. It was still wet in that one spot. So, I can't tell you how many times I got in that wet black paint. So this is another way where I'm not going to let art bully me either. I'm not going to let it win. I'm going to say, I've got this. I'm better than this. I can believe in myself and overcome obstacles. So this burden of completing this page is a done deal for the month of April, and I hope you join us. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and come join us on Facebook. I'll have the link down below, and watch the other people, use the hashtag, and see what everybody else is creating this month, because it's a fun challenge, right? It's a fun challenge. Oh, and by the way, here we go. I've got a brush, and I am doing the whole drop thing with the wild card and splattering, and that's it for me this month, guys. So I'll talk to you soon, and bye for now. Remember to give it a thumbs up and comment if you like, and I'll see you later. And remember, you make a difference. Bye for now.